welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Went a bit wrong there. I was going off, I don't know what I was trying to say, but never mind, it was close enough. So we're in 2023. Well, let's see what happens now this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are continuing with our Hammer words, and we are covering the fifth in the Frankenstein franchise. This is Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. So far we've done Frankenstein, Revenge of Frankenstein, Evil of Frankenstein, and Frankenstein Created Woman. And now we're doing Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed from 1969. Again, directed by Terence Fisher. I think all of them so far have been directed by Terence Fisher. And again, starring Peter Cushing. So this is getting towards the end of end of the mid-phase Hammer and the beginning of the late phase Hammer. So it's a little more racy than the usual and stuff like that. But what was your general thoughts on this?
This, I gotta be honest, it wasn't a great movie.
It
feels like we're stepping over the same thing again.
Kinda.
Like, I get. Yeah, we're 4 films into a Frankenstein franchise.
Yeah.
But this is like the second time in a row that there's not been like a proper monster. It's just been like, oh, it's someone's complete body and we just put a new brain in it.
Which was Revenge of Frankenstein, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very much.
And Frankenstein Created Woman.
Yeah, no, I like this, and I'll talk about the reasons I've liked it. I particularly like the final act, but I did have some problems with it as well. Screenplay by a bloke called Burt Batt, who does not ring a bell. That name. And the story was originally come up by Anthony Nelson Keys, who's a producer and kind of involved in a lot of the Frankenstein movies, and directed by Terence Fisher, starring Peter Cushing. Say what you like, though, Peter Cushing gave this his all again. Again, he always does. I guess.
Again, yeah, he does. You take the bad film seriously. He's completely wanders into a scene, takes it over, and then disappears, and all the actors are kind of left there stumbling.
I have to say, I didn't think this was I think I like this better than you, and hopefully I'll sort of explain why, and we'll get to that. Now, it starts with a tall man walking around carrying a container that looks like it's made to put heads in, right?
Yeah.
It definitely looks like it's like a metal container, head-sized container. It could be a hat box, but it doesn't look like a hat box. And essentially, there's a doctor returning to his practice. You see a door. I'm not sure whether this is meant to be set. I've got a feeling it might be England, actually, because keep going on about foreigners and things, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Frankenstein a foreigner or something like that? But some of the names are kind of Germanic.
Yeah, they're all very German names, though. Yeah.
Yeah. But I couldn't quite tell, but the writing on shops was in English. But that happens.
Yeah, that's just always happens in these films.
That happens in these films. So essentially, this tall man is waiting in a by the side of this entrance where this doctor's going in, and when the doctor turns up, and we see him he's wearing a long cape, and he pulls out this massive knife that's sickle shaped, right? And chops his head off, basically. There's blood flies everywhere.
It's some full-on Hammer blood thing.
Yeah. Bright red. Kensington Gore, it's called. And meanwhile, we see a drunken kind of happy thief. He's grinning to himself while he's breaking into a place. But then he hears footsteps, which is, our man who's just decapitated someone. You can tell by the way he's, the way he walks and stuff. And this thief kind of hides, but he stumbles into a laboratory where there's a body, an upright body, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Head.
And the man attacks him. The decapitated guy attacks him, and there's a full-on fight. This is a very physical film. There's a lot of. It's quite a kinetic movie. There's a lot of fighting and things that actiony kind of stuff going on. Anyway, in this big old fight, the body in the upright glass coffin gets pushed over and smashed, and then the guy, the thief, gets sort of I don't know, kicked, I think, or possibly punched towards the head-shaped container, and it comes open, and the head comes out, and the man runs off. But then he runs straight into a policeman. He's covered in blood. So he goes to the police station, he tells them what's happened. He said, he had a head, and they go, don't be ridiculous, what happened? And then the report comes in that this doctor's been found.
Yeah, the doctor's been found, had a head.
Yeah. And here we get something that was apparently late script change, and not to the particularly positive one. We get this slightly bumbling policeman who reminds me a bit of like Watson. It's that kind of persona.
Yeah, this policeman was annoying.
Yeah, and this was a late insert to try and add a little comedy to the thing, which it did not. This film did not need this at all. However, he's also bizarrely accompanied by a sidekick who's the police medical examiner, the police doctor, who insists in conduct the investigation with him, which is really weird.
Yeah, and then whines whenever he points out a detail.
Yeah,
it's like, it kind of have to be a doctor because no one else would be able to figure this out. Oh, well, you know everything, do you?
Yeah.
You seem to be are you the inspector? No, so you can just go back to your medical analysis. Follow me to the next crime scene.
Yeah, now I have to say,
Come on.
the actor playing this Inspector Frisch, is Thorley Waters, who appears in a lot of 50s kind of comedy films, and he's pretty good. He's pretty good in them. You know, he's funny. But it didn't... I
don't doubt it. It just didn't gel with the horror of the rest of it.
I will say, though, the guy playing the Doctor, Jeffrey Bowden, was pretty good. I liked him as a character, and I like that actor. He actually played the original Catweasel. And he's been in a bit of Doctor Who, and at some points he's been sort of touted as a potential Doctor Who in the 70s and 80s. And he's pretty good. I liked his whole thing. Anyway, the man pulls a mask off. This is a mask. He looks kind of like an old Patrick Stewart with the mask.
Yeah.
and then he pulls it off, and it's
Frankenstein.
It's the Baron. Yeah, it's Peter Cushing in all his splendour. He was the one, and he does fight a lot of people in this. He just keeps fighting,
he just keeps starting arguments.
Yeah, and he's pretty brutal. Now he's gone from being a sociopath to something even worse in this film, which is a bit odd, and wasn't really needed. But we'll get onto that when we get to it. But he's particularly violent. Whereas in the earlier films, he's just alpha, isn't he? I mean, he takes advantage.
He takes over the scenes.
Yeah, he does. So he's Frankenstein is using the name Fenner, Mr. Fenner. He goes to a different town and he rents this boarding house, played by Victoria Carlson, who we saw as the love interest in Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, didn't we? That was her. I think she was an actor in that as well, actually.
Yeah,
so she's called Anna Spengler. She talks about she runs it because her mother's ill. We never seen the mother.
Mother's disappeared, but it's her father. No, I'm thinking of another plot thread.
But she's also a fiance to someone who works in the insane asylum. Played by Carl Holst. Yeah, again, Germanic. This one's played by Simon Ward, who's been an actor in a lot of things. He was probably most famous playing a younger Winston Churchill in a film called Winston, from the 70s, which they never put on the TV. But he looks a bit like a young Winston Churchill, so it's kind of good casting. But he's been in various war films and sort of 70s films and some TV in the 80s. He's all right.
Yeah.
Is that
okay?
And also we see the inside of the asylum where there's this woman screaming about spiders.
Yeah.
And there's quite an
That's quite a good transition, yeah.
Yeah, good cut, because Anna says to Frankenstein,
we'll find you somewhere nice and quiet.
I only have 4 or 5 guests, so you'll find it very quiet. And immediately cuts to a screaming woman, the face, close up of her face. And who's going on about spiders. And we see that Carl is trying to treat her, he's injecting her to calm her down.
Yeah, he's like I guess the position of the.
Yeah, he's a lower rung. He's like he's like a registrar or something.
Yeah. He's the attendant. He has access to medicine, and he's selling it on the side.
Yeah, but he's a doctor. Doctor. And what we find out is to cover the costs of Anna's ailing mother, who we never see. It was a bit lazy. They didn't even put the character in anywhere, and they could have. He's been selling cocaine on the side. Frankenstein immediately works this out, and immediately starts blackmailing both of them.
Yeah,
right? Sort of saying,
well, no, it's not even a case of he works it out. They're just talking about it in the open, and he happens to walk by, and it's like, well,
right. It's saying you'll get 20 years, and my dear, you'll get 10. Imagine what your looks will be like in 10 years of prison and things like that. He's doing all this, so essentially, he wants to get. He hears from one of the other guests. It's very convenient that this guy that he's looking for, who's called Brandt, is insane and in the insane asylum. So that was quite convenient, right? It all works very well. And the immediate start of the blackmail is she has to turf out all the other customers. All 4 of them get turfed out, and they're a bit disgruntled, but Frankenstein don't care because that's how he is, right? So they break into the medical supplies in the asylum, right? I think that's what they were doing. And there's an elderly watchman there, and Carl accidentally kills him.
Yeah, of course.
He stabs him accidentally, which again, makes him totally under the thing of Frankenstein because now he's a murderer, right?
Yeah, he's. It ain't looking good. He's not.
Now he's got this much more over them. He gets them into his plot to kidnap Brandt. So they they kidnap, and he's mad as a box of frogs.
Oh yeah, he's basically non-verbal and just stares at the wall.
He's almost catatonic, right?
Yeah.
And we also say that his wife, who does come to visit him, they advise her not to come again because he's terminal. Not terminal. He's
it ain't gonna.
Incurable.
It ain't doing anything.
Yeah. So she's a little distraught about this. So they get him back to the house and they build a lab. Here, Carl tells Anna that he accidentally killed the guard and she should leave.
Yeah.
We also, when we get to the asylum, we meet the various professors, and one of them is Professor. Oh, what's his name?
Richter.
Is it? Hold on.
It's Richter.
Yeah, Richter. Played by Freddie Jones. Good turn by Freddie Jones. Here is the slightly pompous professor. Freddie Jones is an interesting actor, and we'll talk about his performance here as we get into the final act, as what he becomes. Did you recognise him from anything?
I did not. I'm going to be honest.
He is Theophile Howard in French. David Lynch's Dune. He also was in another David Lynch film. He was the guy that was maltreating the Elephant Man in The Elephant Man.
I've not seen The Elephant Man.
It's a great film. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, I hear.
It looks beautiful, and he's in that too. David Lynch really liked him and used him in Dune. So about that.
Okay.
It's a hell of a film. It's cinematography of The Elephant Man was by Freddie Francis, who was also a Hammer guy, but he's a fantastic cinematographer. He was a cinematographer on Dune as well.
Okay.
So you got an idea. But The Elephant Man's black and white, and man, it's an amazing black and white film. Really amazing. Anyway. Where was I? So we sort of encounter Freddie Jones as the pompous Professor Richter.
Yeah.
As well. And various other sort of familiar faces, aren't there, in this?
Yeah, there's a few.
You kind of know them, but you don't know the actors' names. It's that kind of thing. Anyway, they kidnap him. But unfortunately, he's got some sort of heart problem. Frankenstein diagnosed he's got a heart problem, and Anna's kind of treating him, but she's just about to wander off, and he's going, "Where are you going? Your work's not done." He's all well bossy. He's well bossy. So then
they kidnap Richter
and take his brain out and put Brandt's brain into Professor Richter's body and then
Yeah.
bury Bran in the garden, right?
Yeah.
And the police come and start investigating. They're looking suspiciously at the garden while everyone's tense and sort of watching them, and we see isn't Carl doing a bit of painting or something? And
I think so.
Policeman's sort of talking to him. Now, the police sergeant in this is weirdly, it was like, oh, blimey, it's him. It's a guy called Windsor Davies, who was a comedy actor. He's been in a few carry-ons. He was famous playing the Sergeant Major in a series called It Ain't Half Hot Mum, which was about a British sort of army entertainment unit, and lots of jokes. And they're set in India. Yeah, we don't want to get into all that, but he was pretty good in that. He was pretty funny, and it was kind of interesting to see him in a more serious role. He was only in it very briefly, though. So they bury Bran's body in the garden, but then Bran's wife, she does mention stuff about Frankenstein, but she finds this cartoon of her husband and Frankenstein, from which she recognises Frankenstein.
Yeah,
doesn't she? And she goes to Anna's house asking if he lives there. But before that, there's a really weird scene where Anna's getting ready for bed and Frankenstein comes in and basically rapes her. Right?
Well, there's no basically about it. He does rape her.
Yeah, so. I mean, very uncomfortable scene, and it just
apparently the actors were not happy about this either.
Neither the actors nor the director wanted this in, and it wasn't in the original script. But the Hammer executive James Correas, a major producer, producer of loads of Hammer stuff, said they had to put it in to keep the American distributors happy. But it doesn't sit well because it's never referred to again.
No,
she doesn't particularly act any differently after it, so it feels like they filmed everything else and then this scene was done. It feels a bit like that. And I have to say, Cushing's going for it. Veronica Carlson gives a good turn, but it just doesn't feel right because it doesn't feel like this is how Frankenstein is. He's a sociopath, but he's not a rapist. He's a murderer. He's not a rapist.
He's done a lot of horrible things. That's kind of a line that's not been crossed yet. So.
Yeah. So it was a bit weird, and I never really liked it. When I saw it, I saw this film as a kid, and it totally confused me because it's like Frankenstein doesn't do things like that. And then because the woman didn't seem to do anything but change her mannerisms based on it, I remember watching it as when I say a kid, 12 or something. I didn't understand. I said, well, why isn't she like telling her fiance? Why isn't she doing? Why doesn't she stab him or something?
Yeah.
So I was. It was a bit troubling, and it remains troubling. I think it's not a scene that was needed, or I think they should just take it out. Frankly, it feels like one of those. And talking of late additions, the whole comedy inspector stuff that was a late addition to the script, too, and could have been taken out. And this would have been a very neat 90 minutes, tension-filled 90 minutes. So they do the transplant, and then he realises, now he's put the brain in, that the madness was caused by pressure on the brain. But for some reason, he has to then do a weird operation on the new body because the pressure's still there. But you think, well, if he took out one skull, wouldn't it be a different size skull? Anyway, I didn't quite get that. But man, I'll tell you what, it was quite visceral. You could hear the sawing noise was loud in the sound mix. The drilling noise was loud in the sound mix.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, whoa, this is grisly. I kind of appreciated that. But it was a bit different. It was a bit more in your face than some of the other Frankensteins we've seen. And essentially, he just wants Bran to tell him his secrets. So we're never quite sure. Because Frankenstein could do all this, so it seems a bit weird that he's going through all this.
It's really kind of it's a really tenuous point to make another monster on.
Yeah. So, let's make a monster so the monster can explain to me how to make a monster.
Yeah.
It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway. He then decides, basically he's keeping him in a sort of torpor, isn't he? Keeping him drugged.
Yeah.
But this gets back to the wife turning up and asking if Frankenstein lives there. And Anna's going, no one lives here like that. And then Victor just takes over, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, it is me.
Yeah,
Come see us. I've got your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's all bound up in bandages. So, but he does a few things that makes her believe it's her husband by moving his finger to certain questions.
Yeah.
And she's kind of convinced, and she goes off happy. But as soon as I did laugh because as soon as she leaves the house, Frankenstein turns around and goes, "Pack your bags, we're going." He knows
that's kind of his like thing in all the previous films. The second
leave.
someone suspects, he's like, "We're out."
We're out. But she does go to the police, but she goes on about, I should have come straight to you. And you think, well, you did go straight to them, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is the next thing. Anyway, she explains, and they're like, okay, we're off.
Maybe she means as soon as she found the connection between Frankenstein and her husband.
Oh, it's
That's
possible.
the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, that could be it. Anyway, they do leave, and they travel with the new monster, feeding it milk through a weird tube. And that's kind of visceral, isn't it? Putting tubes in, like, and pulling them out slowly. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that.
It's weird.
And then Frankenstein decides he's going to he has to revive him a bit earlier than he'd planned because he wants to have a chat with him. And Cole kind of overhears this. There's a lot of overhearing things in this as well.
Yeah.
And tells Hannah they've got to prepare to leave, so they're sort of making up the horses. Meanwhile, the creature wakes up, realises he's changed. And I have to say, I thought Freddie Jones gave a terrific performance in this final act. I thought he was up there with Karloff for me. I thought it was really good, personally, because he was pathetic and more, he was trying and sad. He was trying to communicate with his wife as it went on. I really liked it. But
that was cool. Bad monster design, though. Again.
Say again?
It's bad monster design.
I kind of liked it. It was just him with a shaved head.
Yeah, shaved head with like a stitch.
Ring, stitches
sort of around him.
And I also liked the fact they had it shaved but his hair was kind of growing up back like an inch above it and below it. It was kind of clever. I thought it was clever design. But fair enough.
I want like another sort of iconic Frankenstein design.
Yeah. In many ways, this is a retread of Revenge of Frankenstein because Michael Gwynn's creature was also a kind of pathetic thing, though a bit more beastly because he'd like salivate when he saw blood and things. This one's much more like a normal man in bad circumstances, isn't it? Really. Anyway, because Frankenstein revived him and he's been left to it, he's managed to get out and he escapes. But it doesn't escape cleanly, does he? Because as he climbs out, Anna's standing there, and she's kind of terrified. She stabs him. She stabs him in the stomach with a knife. But he just leaves her, because he's a normal person. This is effectively a normal person. It's not a monstrous thing. It's very odd. Yeah, and the rationale, I have to say, the rationale for putting his brain in that body was, if we put him in the brain of a surgeon, he'll just have all the surgeon skills already, dexterity and all that. So let's do that.
Yeah.
That was kind of the thinking.
I guess muscle memory. I don't
know. So he goes, but he manages to get in a coach with a hat, so his head doesn't look weird, back to the town where he comes from and get into his own house.
Yeah,
he meets up with his wife. So. She's freaked out because she doesn't believe it's him. She said, I buried him. Oh, I should have mentioned there was a whole scene that was really quite cool where a water pipe burst and uncovered the body of Brand, which they buried in the garden. And Hannah had to try and keep people out of the garden and move the body before anyone discovered it. I thought that was quite a good tense scene as well. Actually, quite like that. Yeah, I thought so.
I felt like it was set up comedy shenanigans to me. So.
Did it? I thought it was fairly tense. And there we get Freddie Jones, trying to explain. I understand. I'm not who you think. I don't look like me, but it is me. He's trying to reassure, but she won't have it. And in the end, he realizes it's just not going to work. And he decides the only course he's got is revenge, right?
Mm.
And he wants to get Frankenstein. So he basically starts dousing the house with petrol and putting candles, candles everywhere, or gas lamps everywhere. Not gas lamps, like those wicked. I don't know what those oil lamps. Oil lamps. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So when Frankenstein comes in, he's like, "What you want is in this room." And then he starts lobbing these oil lamps about the place.
Yeah.
Basically setting fire to every doorway except the one he wants Frankenstein to go through. And I liked it. I thought it was a good scene. And it looked like they were properly in a room full of fire to me.
Yeah. Well, knowing that sort of era and this company, they may well have been.
Yeah, it definitely looked like they were in a burning room. That must have been horrible to film.
Oh, yeah.
And meanwhile... I have to remind you he's been stabbed. Oh, I've got to say that Frankenstein goes back to the lab and finds Anna sort of traumatised on the stairs. What happened? And she says he got away, but I stabbed him. And then he he takes a knife and turns it on her and stabs her in the stomach. Which kills
that's
her,
Frankenstein like. It's like, oh, my monster got away. God damn it. And stabs the nearest person.
That one stab to the stomach kills her, which is weird.
Yeah.
There you go. And then when Carl finds her, he wants revenge too, right?
Yeah, so it becomes kind of a three-way scrap between Carl, Frankenstein, and the monster. So
I have to. Well, just before that, I'd forgotten to mention it. There is a bit where Frankenstein discovers Carl setting up the horses and says, "Carl, what are you doing?" And they have a massive fight.
Yeah.
And again, he knocks him unconscious. A man half his age, he knocks him unconscious. And convincingly, right? Convincingly.
Yeah. Carl kind of gets his ass kicked through most of this movie.
Cushing's kicking everyone's ass, really. That's what's really happening, apart from right at the end. And kind of knocks Carl unconscious. And then he goes off to look for the creature, assuming he's gone back home. And then Carl's on in pursuit too. Meanwhile, the creature's lobbing around the oil lamps, setting the house on fire. Carl rocks up. And then, as he rocks up, Frankenstein manages to get the pieces of paper that he wants that never really get explained and runs out of the house. But Carl grabs his leg as he's running past and starts wrestling with him. And then to the police don't even turn up, do they? Basically, the monster comes out, or the creature comes out, grabs Frankenstein and runs back into fire. I have to say, at one point, Frankenstein deliberately lights some papers and sticks it in the monster's face.
Yeah. Which I feel like may have been an allusion to the old, like, the monster is scared of fire thing from Universal.
Yeah. I have to say, this is probably the most Universal kind of ending of the Hammer films, I think. The monster dragging the creator back into a burning house. That's straight out of some of them Universals. Or people that wrong him. He's always dragging people into fires. Boris Karloff, the Universal Frankenstein crook monster. But they do that here, and the film ends. There you go. So yeah, I have to say, I thought it wasn't as good as some of the others, but I thought Freddie Jones was excellent as the creature. Personally, but you weren't saying.
I'm okay with his performance. It's just I'm kind of sick of the creature just being a guy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, aside from Christopher Lee in the original, it's kind of all been just people.
Yeah, I have to say that definitely isn't the case in the next two ones.
Oh yeah, it's called The Monster from Hell. So
yeah.
I'm hoping we get some good creature design here.
The second to last one, it's David Prowse.
Okay.
Prowse, so that's interesting, right? And we haven't got long to wait because they made the next one quite soon after this one. There's only like 4 or 5 films between them, or less even. Okay, so you weren't too impressed. Where would you put it in the Frankenstein list? I mean, The Evil of Frankenstein for me is still by far the worst because I just cannot remember it.
Yeah, I think that's...
Got no memory of it.
It probably goes above that, but below everything else.
Yeah.
At the very least, Frankenstein Creates Woman is different,
It's interesting,
Yeah.
and it's fun. It's fun.
It's like, okay, it didn't work as well as the others, but they tried something. I can
it was
appreciate
different.
the effort.
It was different. But this, in many respects, is just a retread of Revenge of Frankenstein, isn't it? It really is. But I just liked Freddie Jones's turn. I thought he did a really good job, personally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not bad. Not a bad one, right? What would you give it on your scoring?
Oh, I'd give it would be closer to like a 4 or so.
4? Okay.
Positive.
Okay.
So.
Positive. I'd give it a 6. I'd give it a 7. Like I say, I really like Freddie Jones. I think this is my second favourite of the Frankensteins. I like the first one best, and this is my second favourite. And Revenge is really close after that. Then it's Frankenstein Created Woman, and then long way down below that is Evil of Frankenstein.
You
but I'm
really?
Say again?
You really don't like it?
No, I don't know. Well, if it's that unmemorable, it must be pretty bad. Right?
Yeah.
And I've seen it a few times, and I cannot remember a single thing about it, apart from I vaguely remember what the monster looks like, and it's stupid. There is that. Okay. All right, let's... so I'll tell you what, the next Hammer one we'll be covering is called Taste the Blood of Dracula.
Oh, God.
This is Dracula in Victorian England, so it's kind of... Well, which I guess the original book was. But,
that's just Dracula.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting...
Maybe he'll talk this time.
There's a bit more talking, yeah.
Okay.
Not as much as Dracula's off the grave, though. I could be wrong. All right, then. Okay, let's wind up there. So, Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We should probably do our year comfy chair.
Yes, that's due, but a couple of weeks' time we'll be doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, until next time, bye from me.
Bye.